This is Dabu7, an update to the situation pertaining to the Zika virus. For those that missed it, I put out a very important video on this before this whole thing got blown up by the mainstream media. When the first reports were being put out about the babies and their small heads down in Brazil, I did some backtracking and came across evidence linking a massive release of GMO mosquitoes that started in the southern tips of Florida, that spread into Mexico, and were released in Brazil. I backtrack through who funded the whole thing, all that in that video over on Dabu777. It's very important people check that out, because fast forward to right now, and this thing is being just blown up by the mainstream media all across the globe. They're saying that they have declared this a global health emergency. And if you take into consideration everything I stated in the other video, this is looking more and more like it is a bioweapon. Now, there's always the scare tactic of the MSM that comes out here just like they did with Ebola and everything else. But oftentimes that is for a push to get a vaccine. Let me tell you something. Somebody sent me a tweet the other day that said something like they already had a vaccine on deck and ready. What does that tell you? These things take a long time to figure out. That means this whole thing, the whole plan, has been cultivated in a petri dish like you see right here in a lab and released on the public. Now, it's no secret that they released these GMO mosquitoes. There was a backlash in Florida against it, but they went ahead and did it anyway. They were also not supposed to release females at all with the males, and they admitted they had released some, which could explode the population in a different aspect. They also embedded these GMO mosquitoes with what they call a kill switch that is supposed to, after a certain amount of time, make them just die off en masse. They have released these on the populace, on the globe. And to me, this should have never happened. This is an atrocity. They should be charged. The consequences, what it's going to take to reverse this is going to take some attention, some time, money, effort, and people are going to have to pay attention to what's happening here. You wonder, if some people are going to come back watching these videos down the road when people they know are affected by this, and they're trying to find what the truth is about this. And I'm telling you, look, follow the money. It goes right back to the Gates. Covered it all in that video. And what's going to be the answer, and what do they always stand behind? A vaccine. So now that the WHO is declaring this a global health emergency, they're saying that this thing is spreading too fast, and it's just uncontrollable. As soon as I had put out the very first piece on this, it was like it was in Arkansas, and then it spread to another state and another, and just all over the place instantly. All across the globe. What I'm telling you guys is this has been made by man. This isn't just like some accident. It isn't something that just sprung up out of nowhere. Man created this in a lab, funded back to the Gates, and was released on the people of this planet. And now they're trying to declare that this is an emergency. That's it in a nutshell. Are they going to blow this up? Yeah, and try to freak people out come vaccine time, when the big push, they always do. So be prepared for it. And pay attention. This is where we need doctors, where we need righteous individuals that are in the know about this stuff. They can take things to a lab. They can study it and tear it apart, see what it really consists of, see if there's something else. Because I tell you this much. Somewhere along the lines, this mosquito was introduced into an environment where they knew the Zika was flourishing, and they made sure that this was a model made from the strain that carries such a deadly virus. It can also be carried by another version of the mosquito that is more invasive. So that's where it sits, guys. Wanted to do the update here. I'm sure you're going to see reports and talk about it all over the place in terms of this Zika spreading, and they're not going to stop. And this is where you have to sit back and look at what the mainstream's doing. When they're running with something like this, like hook, line, and sinker, and taking off, the lines is running off the reel. They're running with it. You got to stop and pump your brakes, pull back, and say, hold on, something's not right here. They ignore certain things that are going on over here, and if you've been in the game long enough, it's easy to see where this is going. So don't doubt it. Spread the word, and a big shout out and a thank you to everyone out there that stays on top of this and does their diligence in playing their part in just spreading the information. And I know many of you are seeing the censorship across all kinds of different platforms. You can't share things. Things are disappearing. Welcome to my world. Okay? This is a fight. You're in it now, and you see it. They're trying to stop you from sharing information and shutting you down from sending links and tweets and everything else. It's real. And they're trying to really stop us from communicating and getting knowledge to one another. So shout outs to those that fight the good fight. It's on. We're in this together. This has been Dabu7. Much love.